What's going on, y'all? It's Jason Reviews here, back at it again with another video. This time, bring you guys another prediction video. Finally, cards are picking up here. We got the New Orleans card for URL announced, Battle in the Bayou. This is actually a really solid card, top to bottom. A lot of good matchups. The big key here, I'm seeing a lot of guys that have been working up to get shots, getting some top tier looks, getting some plates that are going to, kind of stick out compared to their usual level of opponent. And that's my favorite type of matchup. I love to see talent being built, being booked properly, where you can take a guy that's mid-tier, keep booking him, and possibly even push him to top tier, or at least get his buzz going. There's just it's not going to blow you away. It's not a gnome. It's not a SM, but it's just a really good in-between card, app-exclusive event. And without further ado, let me just go in and give my predictions on the battle. So the first few battles I want to talk about here, and as usual, my predictions, some battles I'm going to talk about more than others. Not each one needs a 3 to 4 minute breakdown, but first battle on the card, Big T versus KidSlade. Now, KidSlade is someone that obviously URL is trying to push out of the UM4 class. To a lot of us, he had the most star potential kind of ceiling just at a, straight view of UM4, at, his plug talk, all that shit. I'm a big fan of him, but with Sheed coming up, Sheed had a great run in the UM5 tournament. Obviously Body Bag went over Truffaut. The controversial judge went over None, but he's definitely got the glow. You even see someone like Truffaut who beat Ichigot in the tournament. You see UM4 still not getting the shots they really deserve, but getting more shots. And what you saw is KidSlade had a one-rounder with Bad News on Band, and then had the Ride a Battle on the one-offs card for UM5. And I'm going to be honest, it was definitely very underwhelming for a guy that we expect to be a star. Kind of had a mucky little debatable with Ride, even though Ride is an okay battler, but just admissible, really weird battle. And then versus Bad News, kind of had a one-rounder, or kind of unclear, but Bad News in a one-rounder. Just been really light workload from him. So this looks like the first high-profile name he's going to take on is Big T. I'm not going to go too hard on Big T because there's just some things that we already know. I already know what the talk is on Big T, and I agree with it. Big T is clearly past his prime. Looks rather disorganized, kind of confused up there sometimes. The unorthodox, he still has some of his unorthodox style, but it's turned into unorthodox fire into just unorthodox. He's not getting bars off, haymakers with the same variety, choking and stumbling a lot, lots of filler. So I have KidSlade taking this 2-1. I have this finally being the clear win that let's start propelling a run. You got to get a clear win to get to the next level up, That's how it always, for the most part, has been with upcoming talents that don't just immediately, blow us away and have, generational rises. But even with them, you got to beat a couple of those first, gatekeeper guys first. So I have KidSlade 2-1 clear, possibly 3 over Big T. Needs to take this one serious, because if this one isn't a clear W, we're going to have to start asking some questions about KidSlade. And that leads us into another battle of someone that has somewhat of a full resume, but is getting another top tier look here. Shotgun Suge versus Drugs. Now, I've done a Battler Spotlight, which after this card I will do another probably Battler Spotlight. Someone on the card will show out. But I did one on Drugs, going over his franchise performance and how well, the career year he's been having. And I think Shotgun Suge is the perfect next step. I think it's a winnable battle for Drugs. We know that Suge is one of the main gatekeepers. And if you want to make it to a top tier level, you probably have to clear Suge at somewhere along the way. And as for Drugs, like I said, career year 3-1 on the year, I believe, with the one loss being a split decision versus Truffaut in a very good battle on Midnight Madness. A lot of people do have Drugs winning on Cam. And I think here Drugs can continue that. I think Suge's going to give you what Suge's going to give you. I don't expect a super crazy, out of this world Suge, but he's going to give you your physicality, your one round with a few physical based haymakers, maybe a what's your life like, and it's up to Drugs to either match that and have it debatable, or do what he has to do to keep rising, bring another 8 out of 10 plus version of himself like he did versus Lou, like he did versus Franchise, and get a clear win. Very similar to Slade versus Big T, except I got Drugs 2-1 clear. I do have Suge definitively getting around, so no possible on the 3-0. But I do think that Drugs is going to get this one 2-1 clear. He's had a lot of momentum this year. He deserves this look, and that will further, I'm seeing he's missing from some of these Champion of the Year tracker lists and stuff. I'm not saying he has to be super high up there, but I think another win here makes it even harder to keep him off of those lists. So first two battles, I got the young guys getting wins. I got KidSlade 2-1 to 3-0 clear over Big T, and Drugs 2-1 clear over Shotgun Suge. And as we keep going, just solid. Like I said, no blow you off the page until you get to the top, maybe superstar matchups, but solid matchups through and through. Next is Jackboy main versus Tink. Now, Jackboy has been linked to the K-Shine battle. A lot of people wanted that, but me, as a few others, think that Jackboy has some building to do. He's yet to have a dominant big stage performance, really a good big stage performance at that. So I think giving him shine on a big stage, Gnome or anything from there is just kind of a setup. Even though at first I was happy for it, now that I'm looking at it, we might be caught up more in the stock than the actual production here. But Jack is coming off, pretty rough little loss to Lady Flames, 3-0, another big stage look for him. But people chalked that up, including Jack, to battling his girl. His last battle before that, he had the chess one-rounder, dope, and then he had the Saga three-rounder, which he won in like a pretty okay battle. So I think Tink makes a lot of sense. This is the Demon versus Demon matchup. I never thought of it, but there's going to be a lot of demonic, a lot of gory shit being said, and I expect a lot of aggression, a lot of that. If you're into that hardcore type of shit that Tink brings, I think he's going to bring that tenfold out of Jackboy, and you're going to have a real just evil fucking battle here. I'm very, very excited. I think Tink is underrated and has the potential to win. I had him beating Jay the Nightwing. He's just been overall having a pretty decent year. Lost to Fonz, but I thought he was decent in that battle. And this is just further time for Tink, coming back out of prison, kind of knocked him off his pivot for a while, throwing up during battles. He's on a little bit of, heat right now, and it's time for him to keep proving that. I'm expecting a very motivated Tink and a motivated Jackboy. I don't know if this is big venue or not, depending on that. The bigger the stage, I'm going to say that Jackboy has less of a chance. The smaller the room, I feel comfortable with almost saying Jackboy 2-1 clear. But going into this battle, I'm going to have Jackboy 2-1 edge. I think where he's at, he's also motivated. He knows he takes a debatable or a loss here. Just be nasty for him. Although Tink is good, the stock name is lower, so you just can't be taking that public eye view, the way things are booked. There's just a lot of things that play into that aspect, even though I know that Tink is a very formidable opponent. But I have Jackboy 2-1 edge as of right now. I just think he outperforms a little bit. The people are missing the ficky. So that's that. And that gets us into Mike P versus Nun. Dope. 2015 PG class guys going head to head here. Been talking a little bit of shit. Nun is having a stock rise, even though I feel like he's been kind of losing a lot of battles. Mike P is on the huge stock decline, and I also feel like he's been losing a lot of battles. But they both usually come and bring a 7 out of 10 performance. I think the critique with these two is that in any battle, they're going to give you good. You're going to get a Nun performance. You're going to get a Mike P performance. But it's rare for them to, across 3 rounds, really make a battle competitive and have like that standout, blow you away performance. I think Mike is more prone to that, to having that. But on the flip side, that hasn't really worked for Mike. We're talking about possibly six clear losses straight recently. So this one, definitely a toss-up, though, because I don't think either of them are... I think they're both very good battlers that bring a very consistent rate of battling, but I don't think either of them are great or blow you away, which is what leads to a lot of people kind of feeling they go on losing streaks. But the streak has to end at some point. I think Mike P edges this battle. I think he's had enough. I think that his peak is higher than Nun's peak, and I think he just really needs to win bad. And this is a perfect moment to show some things that he does performance-wise and maybe just straight rapping fluidity-wise that Nun doesn't do. Nun's a little bit better with the wordplay, but Mike has more of the capabilities to land definitive haymakers, and for that reason, I have Mike P 2-1 edge over Nun. That's 4 matchups that I like so far and 4 good battles. And we're going to wrap up the final 3 on the card here. New Jersey Twerk versus Jerry West. I was not expecting this. This is a crazy one they put together. Jerry coming off a career high performance versus Lou, where he really beat the shit out of Lou. And then you got Twerk obviously returning, like his 6th return battle, but another, return battle. Glad that he's free. Glad to see him home and back in the ring. This one right here, it's always hard to predict, because we're back to predicting Twerk battles, and I haven't done many on this channel, had to predict many on this channel, but for those of you that know my philosophy on it, it's impossible. I'm predicting on his talent, but about 61% of the time, he's at least going to stumble or choke a round. Doesn't mean he's going to lose the battle, but he's going to do that. So much crazy shit, but I think he's sitting on bars. I think he's prepped. I think people underrate Jerry West. I think Jerry West is going to be very formidable this battle. I expect to see a very, very great Jerry, and I expect to see an even better New Jersey Twerk. I got New Jersey Twerk 2-1 clear or 2-1 edge in a fire battle. Now, the reason I say clear edge is because I think I'm going to walk away with Twerk. I think I'm going to walk away with thinking Twerk comfortably won a close battle. Like, I think people hear close battles a lot and think, oh, it's got to be debatable if it's close. No, I think sometimes you can edge the battle. You can beat a guy that was really great, and we could say, damn, that was a close round. He was really great over there, but there's just a couple haymakers we can't deny over here. I think Jerry's fantastic. I think his loop performance, like I said, I reviewed it, spectacular work. And if he brings that performance, it's possible to beat Twerk. We saw like a Jay the Nightwing Twerk-esque situation. If Jerry brings his best self, he has the capabilities of beating a Twerk. If Twerk is not, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, but sitting on bars, motivated. I think he's gotten his mind right while he was gone. And I'm expecting a very, very great Twerk versus Loso type of Twerk right here. So I'm taking Twerk 2-1 and possibly the battle of the night. But after that is the one. Well, I think Twerk and Jerry can be it. I have my real battle of the night pick right here. Danny Myers versus Fonz. Good God. A rebooking from Super Fight. They both elevated a lot since then. Danny has beaten Rock and risen to stardom for the most part. Fonz is on his way. Big critique with Fonz. I always said he needs a top-tier win. We're talking about Fonz in the DSM. I'm hearing all these matchups thrown around, but he has not clearly beat a top tier yet. I think he has the capabilities to. I think he's going to be a perennial top tier for years to come. So I don't think I'm a Fonz hater, but I got to see it before I can start giving him the rewards for it. And this is a perfect opportunity. Danny plays as a star and a gatekeeper. We know that he catches wreck anywhere. And it's a punch fest. It's a super. Who do you think's going to punch harder? I don't know what Danny's schedule is around here in the days coming up. That will change my opinion. If Danny's kind of booked around here, there's a possibility of him stumbling. If this is all with full prep, I think I got Danny 2-1 edge or 2-1 clear over Fonz. Very similar to Twerk versus Jerry, where I just think that Danny at his peak can just reach a little bit higher. Fonz is getting there. Like I said, punch fest. This one's close. You know what? I'm not even going to call anything clear. You can't call this battle clear at all. Can't even use the word to describe that. I have Danny Myers 2-1 edge. They both are just absolute, two of the best punchers in the world right now. Maybe it's off more prior acts. I've seen Danny beat all types of top tiers, all that. And the question here is, can Fonz get his first top tier win? He battled JC. I had him losing that battle rather clear. He battled Fonz, had a career high second, or battled Av, had a career high second versus Av. Great battle, but he lost the first and the third pretty clear versus Av. So it's time for Fonz to go out there, get that top tier win to solidify his career. I'm expecting a great battle, has a little bit of classic potential, a little bit written on it, but I have to age with the veteran here. He's shown it before, and I think that if he has proper prep, depends on the schedule, like I said, but if he has the proper prep, nothing within about 2 weeks of this, I have Danny 2-1 edge in the battle of the night. And then we will talk about, right here, the main event, the Kardashians versus Shooterol. I had the Kardashians kind of doing them bad. I had the Kardashians 3-0. I was really happy to see, obviously, Official had to be on this card. It would be absolutely sacrilegious if she wasn't. I was really, really hoping it would be Official versus Vixen. I know that's crazy. And I realized weeks ago that it wouldn't be booked here. But the way they just talked about it, obviously wasn't booked yet. But when I first heard the New Orleans card announced, when they first talked about it, I was like, man, that's got to have Official versus Vixen as the headliner. Sadly, it doesn't, but we still get Official as she deserves. And it's still a pretty heavyweight women's, obviously 2-on-2s, as you guys know. Me, personally, not that crazy on 2-on-2s in general, just as a concept. I respect it. I look at it as like kind of all-star game stuff. There has to be some real storyline there for me to get invested, for it to be like super competitive. Guys sharing material. It's not bad. It's just not as good as one-on-ones to me. So at first glance, a 2-on-2 doesn't make me the happiest. But like I said, Official had to be up there. Kardashians versus Shuni and Farrah Shooterol. So it's all top-tier names, at least. We still have a star pack 2-on-2 here. But I just look at Jazz and Official, and I just think they're better than Shuni and Farrah. I think Shuni and Farrah are much more open to possibly choking. Official has had some issues kind of last year with that. But if we're talking just career-wide, I don't really think it's like a debate who here probably would have the more memory issues. Jazz and Official are more consistent. I think Jazz and Official have proven all time they're just better. Rank among the Pantheon. So Shuni's had a very good year. Farrah, I don't know what's going on. The last few I've seen from Farrah have been a little here and there. So I'm hoping that they make this a very competitive battle. But for the main event, I can't lie, I got the Kardashians 3-0 and a performance not all the way as bad as verse 40 and E-Hart, but I'm expecting something like that where they kind of just monster truck through the opposing team here. And that is my full recaps for this card, Battle in the Bayou. This is a good one. This is a good one. We have SM and the Philly card, all that coming on like that last fourth of the year. So for this to just be like one of the in between cards, Danny versus Fonz, return to Twerk. You see guys like Jackboy Drugs and KidSlade still building the rep. A couple wild cards with Jerry West and Tink in there, giving them a chance to. This is, people complain they book the same names all the time. They do this. I see some different names here. I see some productive matchup building that if guys lose battles here, it matters. And if guys win battles here, it matters. We just don't want to see battles where if there's a result, we're just like, whatever. That's kind of how I felt about, some of the one-offs, Ryder versus KidSlade. I'm like, well, that's occurring. Your Honor versus Steams, that's occurring. I know it's a one-off card. I don't want to give it too much shit. But just here, every matchup here, it feels like these guys had to be hungry for it. I feel like every battle here matters for everybody on the card. It can severely drop them or severely rise their stock. So, dope stuff. I'm very, very excited to cover this, when it comes out. I'm definitely going to have some battler spotlights. Probably, since it's going to be an app event, single battles coming out. It won't be just me doing a full card recap. But yeah, dope. 2 thumbs up for the card. And I can't wait to see the more news that we get. Like I said, it's finally picking up. It's finally here. And I can't wait to see the more news we get going forward. So it's been JSmo Reviews again, y'all. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.